So what is next for President Trump? Well, as I've reported here on this show, that President Trump, or then candidate Trump, never wanted to become president of the United States. Anyone who knew him and was around him at the time, and anchors at Fox News, etc., all knew that he did not want to become president of the United States. It was great for television ratings. Governor Mike Huckabee used to complain all the time. He used to say to us when I was an anchor there, I cannot get a word in edgewise. I can't get the airtime as a candidate because Trump just sucks all of the air out of the room with what he says. He was so frustrated because the media loved it. The media would cover anything he would say. He knew how to control the day-to-day, right? He would have some comments first thing in the morning that he'd be tweeting about, and that would drive the conversation. And then later in the evening, during the nightly news broadcasts, he'd be saying something else, and that would drive the nightly news. He controlled the airways. He loved the media side of it, but he never wanted to become president. He wanted to elevate his own brand because he was millions of dollars in debt. We now know this. Of course, from the tax returns, but also Michael Cohen and other insiders who worked with Trump, that he just wanted to elevate the Trump brand. That's it. That was his whole purpose of running and coming down that escalator and running for president. We know on election night, he thought he was going to lose handily by Hillary Clinton, and they had already gassed up the jet and were planning to fly to Scotland. He and the family were going to fly to Scotland. And they were going to spend time in Scotland after Hillary would win. Of course, on election night, Melania Trump cried her eyes out. It's like, oh my God, what has happened? Now we have to move to Washington? To move into the White House? I'm the first lady? What? This isn't what I signed up for. So, in the months leading up to the election, the Trump campaign, President Trump and others in his orbit were starting to lay the groundwork for Trump TV, a Trump media television network of some sort. You know, he loved Roger Ailes at Fox. He wanted his own thing. And quietly in the halls of Fox, while I was there, I had anchors coming up to me asking me, hey, have you been talking to them at all about potentially going to work for them as an anchor after the election? Because they didn't think they were going to win. They wanted to start their own television network. They had tapped into a message that they knew was powerful. It could be a competitor to Fox News. It would be a super competitor to CNN. And President Trump would get to do what he loves to do, which is to be on television, right? He would get to be his own Roger Ailes. So this was happening. Producers at Fox and others, and even other networks I had heard about, were being wooed, and there was discussions happening. Would you be interested in coming to work for this particular network? They were keeping it quiet. And there was talk of a big Fox anchor going to work there. I won't name names, but I think you can probably figure out who it is. That he would go and anchor, be the main anchor, the main nighttime primetime guy on a Trump television network. Well, now we have reporting on this from Business Insider, confirming what I've been saying here, but talking about what's going to unfold after if President Trump loses tonight, that there would be a Trump television network and that Jared Kushner has already been laying the groundwork for this. So here's the front page of Business Insider. Jared Kushner floating launch of a new Trump-branded media outlet, GOP sources say. It's another sign of a looming 2020 defeat. Now, remember, they were starting this in 2016. But there was such disdain for the way that the country had been going that he tapped into this nerve that propelled him to the presidency. Outraged workers who were tired of seeing their jobs shipped overseas, tired of these foreign wars. He stood on a stage and mocked Jeb Bush for supporting the Iraq war. And then now he says, you don't support it? What did make up your mind, Jeb? Your brother got us into one of the worst wars in American history, the Iraq war in Afghanistan. And that struck a nerve. Hey, it struck a nerve with me. I can't stand wars. Yeah, get us out of these wars. Great. That struck a nerve for a lot of people. And it worked. And he won unexpectedly. Well, now the same thing is happening. And now it looks like he will actually lose, according to the latest polling on this election day. And all of these, if you look at this battleground polling from today, Florida, 29 electoral votes leaning his direction, but Georgia blue, North Carolina blue, Maine blue, Pennsylvania blue. This is the final battleground polling from the UVA Center for Politics. And of course, the final poll, the USC Dorn's Life poll, which was the most popular poll in 2016, has right now Vice President Biden leading Trump nationally by double digits, 54 to 43% in the poll's daily tracking. So all accounts are that he's going to lose tonight. Of course, we'll see tomorrow, right? But so what's next for him? It's Trump Television. It's his own media company. Make no mistake that this show will continue. President Trump is not going to just quietly go into the distance. He now has an enormous platform. Look at his YouTube channel. The Trump YouTube channel already has 1.86 million subscribers. All of the infrastructure is already there. They've already been doing the Trump Television show. Have you seen this one, of course, with Don Jr. interviewing his dad on the Trump TV?
We have a great opportunity to sit with the most powerful father in the world. So I have some interesting questions for you. Now, we've had some good fun.
This is all on Trump TV. Look, Team Trump online.
But we want to show a little bit of humor. So I have a couple questions that I think are on all of the minds.
By the way, I love this interview because couldn't they have gotten Don Jr. a microphone? Like, didn't they think about this? There's literally no microphone on him. So he sounds like there's like some boom mic across the room. I hope Trump TV actually has a microphone for their hosts. Hopefully they can afford that.
Of our viewers. So the first one, which is the big one also on my mind, is which is your favorite Trump child and why is it Ivanka?
Look for more of that. Can you wait for Trump TV? So mark my words, he will become like a Roger Ailes. He will run his own media outlet. He will pop in from time to time on different shows. There's no way that he's going to do his own like nightly show, but he will pop in as like the big daddy. He will get to drive the narrative. He will be on Twitter on a regular basis. He will not be going away anytime soon.
Ready? You have the cameras rolling?
Exactly. He loves it. He loves the spotlight. He always has. And so for him to own his own network, which is a money-making machine, for him to be able to be a needle in the side of Joe Biden for the next 4 years, just needling, tweeting, that's what we're in for the next 4 years. And there's already discussion, and we've already seen, the idea that Don Jr. would run for president. Think about this legacy for Trump. Building his own television network, his own version of Fox that he controls, where he can be needling Joe Biden for the next 4 years, elevating Don Jr., Ivanka, to run for president. I mean, Trumpism is here to stay. There is no Republican agenda anymore. Who's going to run the conservative agenda going forward for Republicans? Who's it going to be? Ted Cruz going to step up? What will become the Republican narrative for the next after Trump loses? Trumpism is here. They've cornered the market on this idea. So will we see Ivanka? Will we see Don Jr. running for president? They have their own television network. That they'll have their own. I guarantee you, Ivanka is going to have her own show. Don Jr. will have his own show. They'll be publishing books. They'll be driving people away from Fox News. He'll stop all of his love fest of the OAN network and now focus on Trump Television. He loves putting his name on things. It doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. This is exactly what's going to happen. It's happening already right in front of our eyes. That Jared Kushner is laying the groundwork for this Trump-branded media outlet. Who disagrees with me? Be curious to see who would actually disagree with me on this. What do you think, Dave? Is this is going to happen? I mean, I think it's already happening.
It probably is already happening. And the thing is, like, maybe Trump doesn't want anybody else to have a microphone. Maybe that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, he can't carry a whole network himself.
No,
it'd be better for him to get in there and sort of needle things.
He thinks he can, though.
Oh yeah, but he loves to just get in there and needle things, right? And he'll do like big special events. They'll bring him on, like, former President Donald Trump is joining me now. I'm Ivanka. Dad, good to see you. You know, he's going to weigh in on things from time to time. He'll call in, so you don't see his face. He'll call into different shows, like Fox and Friends style. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words, you're going to see a Trump, and then we're going to get into huge censorship discussions, right? Because the moment that YouTube censors one of his videos, the moment that an Apple doesn't allow a Trump TV app to be on the Apple TV, right? You already see this coming.
It'll be the Alex Jones of Alex Jones 2.0.
Exactly. This is what we're facing. I don't know. But he is not going away. So this is what we're in for. We are in for, and you look, by the way, if he loses, he can run again. He's younger than Biden. Imagine President Trump waits 4 years or 2 years and then decides to run again. I guess we'll all know in a few hours what's going to happen here. So thank you so much for watching our Election Day special. Subscribe to our channel. You know, YouTube tells me that 70% of you are not subscribed to the channel. How is that even possible? Just smash that subscribe button. We're here live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Exactly. Got to do that. Subscribe, smash that like button. Also, we do publish our daily newsletter Monday through Friday. Just go to morninginvest.com, subscribe. It's delivered to your inbox first thing in the morning. It's totally free. You can read the news in about 5 minutes. We cover a lot of different business stories, progressive business stories that I think you're not going to see in the mainstream media. You know, they're just going to focus on Wall Street and how the stocks are doing. I care more about how you are doing and our economy that affects individual families and not Wall Street. So go to morninginvest.com and subscribe to the newsletter.